Hello, Weston Baptist Chapel. Thank you for joining us as we continue our journey down the Via Dolorosa. Today is day number 10, and we pick up in Matthew chapter 5, beginning at verse 27. You have heard the commandment that says, you must not commit adultery. But I say, anyone who even looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. So if your eye, even your good eye, causes you to lust, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your hand, even your stronger hand, causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. Job chapter 31 verse 1 says, I made a covenant with my eyes not to look with lust at a young woman. Watch your eyes. It is an entryway to the heart. Sexual sin does not just happen. It starts in the heart, but the pathways of the eyes and touch take us there. Jesus is clear here. Guard your heart carefully. Does blinding our eyes or cutting off our hands stop the heart from sinning? No, that is not what Jesus is requiring. Instead, he is saying to take active steps to protect our hearts from sexual sin. How do we do it? First, see them as God's daughters. He loves his daughters and will protect them. Second, Jesus treated them as special and died for them. Be like Jesus and treat them with the same honor. Third, guard our eyes and thoughts carefully. Be aware of what we put before our eyes and into our minds. If our mind wanders, stop it. And thank God for the women we love, our mothers, our wives, our sisters, our daughters. Bless them and ask God to make them be a blessing to others. Now our hearts can see them the way that God sees them. Finally, be accountable to someone. Men, have another man that will ask you the tough questions about this. Women, have a woman evaluate what you say, what your clothing says to men. Let God's light shine. It protects us. Some people think it is the woman's responsibility to keep men from lusting after them. Stop thinking that it is other people's responsibility to keep us from sinning. It is our choice and our responsibility. If they do things wrong, they will be responsible for their actions. We are responsible for our thoughts, the responses of our hearts, and our actions. For myself and other men, this is a daily challenge. We are affected by what we see, and it is easy to go quickly from observing to lust. Today, have God help you keep our eyes under guard. Have him help us to see through his eyes. We need to see hurting, vulnerable women as he sees them. Do not allow our eyes to miss the special beauty that he created in them. They are special because he created them, loves them, died for them, has a destiny for them, and will use them to release his blessing in this world. Let's continue reading, picking up at verse 31. You have heard the law that says, a man can divorce his wife by merely giving her a written notice of divorce. But I say that a man who divorces his wife, unless she has been unfaithful, causes her to commit adultery. And anyone who marries a divorced woman also commits adultery. Matthew chapter 19 verses 3 through 12 reads this way. Some Pharisees came and tried to trap him with this question. Should a man be allowed to divorce his wife for just any reason? Haven't you read the scriptures? Jesus replied. They record that from the beginning God made them male and female. And he said, this explains why a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and the two are united into one. Since they are no longer two but one, let no one split apart what God has joined together. Then why did Moses say in the law that a man could give his wife a written notice of divorce and send her away? They asked. Jesus replied, Moses permitted divorce only as a concession to your hard hearts, but it was not what God had originally intended. And I tell you this, whoever divorces his wife and marries someone else commits adultery unless his wife has been unfaithful. Jesus' disciples then said to him, if this is the case, it is better not to marry. Not everyone can accept this statement, Jesus said, only those whom God helps. Some are born as eunuchs, some have been made eunuchs by others, and some choose not to marry for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. Let anyone accept this who can. If you thought that Jesus was tough when he talked about adultery, his stand on divorce is even more difficult. First, Moses allowed divorce. Obviously, that was not just Moses, but God who allowed it. However, God allows it because people refuse to be obedient, not because of necessity. In other words, if you are in rebellion to God and divorce your spouse, then your rebellion does not cause God to bring blame on the other person who is trying to keep the marriage together. Second, unfaithfulness to your marriage partner is often involved. Adultery is more than a physical act. Third, there are huge consequences to divorce. God says the consequences are real. Believe him. Fourth, remember that this section is how obedience to God's law is an issue of the heart, not external compliance. Maintaining a strong relationship in marriage is a heart issue, not a compatibility issue. Compatibility is a word that lawyers make up to make money off of your divorce. Challenges always exist. Jesus is clear. All challenges can be handled if both people choose to be obedient to God. We need to commit ourselves again to honor our husbands and wives the way he wants us to do it. They are not perfect, but we need to commit to walking with them in a way that honors them and honors him. We have commitment in our marriages, and we need to walk in that commitment. Ask God to strengthen us when challenges arise. Ask him for a heart of blessing, a heart of love for each other, and a high fence that will not be broken into by anyone else, and we will never break out of it. Let's continue reading, picking up at verse 33. You have also heard that our ancestors were told, "You must not break your vows. You must carry out the vows you make to the Lord. But I say, do not make any vows. Do not say, by heaven, because heaven is God's throne. And do not say, by the earth, because the earth is his footstool. And do not say, by Jerusalem, for Jerusalem is the city of the great king. Do not even say, by my head, for you can't turn one hair white or black. Just say a simple yes I will or no I won't. Anything beyond this is from the evil one." Making our words stronger by using a vow or an oath. Jesus wants us to keep our word when we give it. Let our hearts show integrity through the words we say. When people do not trust what we say because we have a habit of breaking our promises, we are in trouble. Also, be careful what we say is true. We have seen people get in a lot of trouble, and I have done the same thing because they declare something is true and it is not. They have just checked things out before they declare it. It sounds good, it makes sense, but it is not accurate. Especially be careful with God's word. Make sure we know what God is saying. If you are not sure, then make sure we let people know it is your best understanding. There is no shame in having it change what we believe when we are wrong. We have done it so many times. We need to learn the hard way to be careful. Sometimes we make such bad mistakes because we say things that are not correct. We do not always do this on purpose. We are just careless. We're lazy about checking things, or do not see what it actually says. Ask him to teach us carefully with his word and to treat it with integrity. We need to have a wise tongue to speak with care. We need to have a gentle heart to deal with others. We all make mistakes. We need to be a good example for others to follow in this matter. Thank you for joining us. Join us tomorrow as we continue our journey down the Via Dolorosa. God bless.